the address book. Then we're going to look at how to insert a new party into the address book. We're going to look at the searching and the filtering facilities in the address book. We'll look at how you can generate letters, emails, and SMSs from the address book. Then we're going to be discussing party roles, party relationships, and then lastly, a quick conclusion. Let's have a look first of all at an overview of the address book. Now, the LegalSuite address book is used to capture all parties that play a role in your matters. These include, but they are not limited to, for example, clients, advocates, if you're doing conveyancing work, buyers, sellers, estate agents, mortgage originators, if you're doing collections work, plaintiffs, defendants. So any person that plays a role in your matter, not just clients, will be captured into the address book. Now, it's very important to remember that a party only needs to be captured into the address book once. The same party can play different roles on a matter though. Just look at the LegalSuite address book and compare it to a physical address book that you might have where you keep your phone numbers. You only insert a party or a phone number into your phone book once. If that person comes to you again in another capacity to give you more work, you don't re-enter their details in your physical address book, your physical phone where you're keeping your number, so you're certainly not going to do it in LegalSuite as well. The program will warn you if you insert an entry that looks similar to an existing entry. So as you take on a party, if you type in the name, surname, or ID number, and it corresponds with someone or something you've already got in your address book, it will warn you, and please don't ignore that warning. Let's have a look first of all at the overview of the address book. If we go into LegalSuite, that icon top left-hand corner, that circle, that is the button that you will press on that will open the LegalSuite address book for you. Now you'll see the address books open up in front of us, and circled there is a list of all the entries that's in your address book. You'll see it's got allocated a code, it's got the client's name, whether they're FICA compliant or not, physical address, postal address, identity number. So those are the columns that you can see on your address book without actually going into one of the items on the address book. Now, just to give you an overview of this address book, those icons that are highlighted at the moment, they're all going to be used to generate letters, emails, and SMSs to your clients. In other words, those are the ones that you will use to communicate with the parties in the address book. Then that little button that's highlighted now, that is to view the document log, and that will automatically, any correspondence that goes out of the address book will automatically be saved into the document log. And that is where you can go to view that documentation. Then we've got a print reports button. That is if you want to print and pull reports from the address book. Then we've also got a search facility there in the address book, which we'll have a look at. We've got filtering options, which are now circled top right-hand side. Then we've got also different tabs on the address book. The first one is the relationships tab. That will show you, for the highlighted party that you're standing on, any other party that highlighted one might be in a relationship with, which we will have a look at later. Then we've got a matters involved in tab. That will show you a list of all matters that the highlighted party is involved in. So they might be acting as a defendant in some, as a client in others. For example, if you've got one client called Absa Bank, if you're standing on them in the address book and you click on the matters involved in, you can see all the matters for Absa Bank. Then we've got items in safekeeping. In other words, if you're keeping a client's ANC or a will or something in safekeeping at your offices, you can record it in the address book as well. And lastly, we've got another reports tab as well for the specific highlighted party. Right, let's have a look now at inserting a new party into the address book. Now that is done by using those three buttons at the top. Those are your insert, change, and delete icons, which are the same wherever you're working in LegalSuite. Or you can also obviously press insert on your keyboard, or you can go right click and insert with your mouse. And the inserting a new party address will be added screen will pop up. Now, first of all, you're going to be asked to choose the entity of the party that you're adding. In other words, is it an adult? Is it a closed corporation? Is it a court official, an estate, government body, partnership? What is the entity? And the entity basically refers to the legal persona of the party. So you're going to choose the entity. Then you're going to decide, depending on which entity you choose, different types will become available. So if it's an adult, it's going to ask you, is it male or female? If it's a closed corporation, it's going to ask you what type of closed corporation is it? An advocate, attorney, business, um, state agent, financial institution. So you'll choose the type of entity. And like I said, the type of the party depends on which entity is chosen. So you will choose then the correct type of the party. And then you will say, what is the default role? Now you'll see there's a whole list of roles that a party can play in the address book, from an advocate, a client, an attorney, assessor, clerk of the court, buyer, seller. You choose the default role. Now we're asking you here to choose the default role that this party usually plays in a matter. You will, when you're actually inserting a matter and allocating the parties to it, you can at that stage give it a different role. Just to show you, if you go back to the matter screen, the role it plays in a matter, and a specific matter is selected when you link the party to the matter. So if we go to the parties for this matter screen, or the Baker-Jones file, you'll see there's a list of the current parties. There's a client, plaintiff, and a defendant. Now if you go right-click and insert, or you click on the insert button, it will take you into the address book. You select the person from the address book that you need, and it's going to automatically fill in the default role, which will be advocate, because that's how that person was opened in the address book. But you can at this stage click on the drop-down and choose that person to play a different role on this matter. Click on OK, and it will add that party into the parties for this matter. So Mary Smith is the advocate on this matter. That is her default role in the address book as well, but you could have changed the role. If she, for example, comes to you to sell her house, she can be added on the screen as the seller. There's your list of parties for this matter. Right, to go back to the inserting a party, we had a look at the entities, types, and roles. Once you've defined those, you can then continue with putting in the surname of the adult. And you'll see I've typed in soap, and when you click on tab, it's going to warn you that there's existing entries. It's telling you there are similar entries in the address book. Please ensure that you are not entering a duplicate entry by examining the list below. So you can then have a look at those entries it shows you. And if the person you are capturing already exists in the address book, it's very important to select that and say use this entry. It just keeps your address book tidy. It makes your reporting easier. It makes your financial reporting easier. We don't want duplicates in the address book. Now the Jones I'm taking on is not in the address book already, so I'm going to say ignore, or you can say use this entry. I'm going to say ignore. And then you carry on and you complete the rest of the details. Now under general, it's going to ask you for the surname, first name, title, initials, ID number, date of birth. Obviously, if the entity was a closed corporation, it will ask you for the registration number of the closed corporation, the VAT number. So depending on the entity, it might ask you for different information. It's vital to complete all that information, like the ID number. If it's a conveyancing matter, obviously that ID number will pull through on the documentation. Likewise, if it's a collections matter, all that information that's captured here is used to populate the documents. Then we've got the postal address. It will, by default, create the salutation, Dear Mr. Soap. If you want this party to be addressed differently, you can change the salutation here. Then you've got your different lines for your postal address. Again, if it's a conveyancing matter, it's vital that you complete all those lines, line 1, line 2, and the town, and it's required for SARS and rates applications, the online applications. Then your physical address, that's very important, for example, for service address. If it's a collections matter, that is the address of the defendant that we use to deliver documents, service documents, so ensure that that is captured correctly. Then you've got contact details. On that screen, you can right-click and insert cell numbers, telephone numbers, work numbers, email addresses, and make sure that those are captured correctly, especially also for SARS applications, so cell phone numbers and email addresses required, but also for the automatic notification. If you want this party to receive automatic notification as you work on the matter, you have to have the contact details completed so that the program knows where to send it to. Right, then on the next tab is your marital tab, which is obviously important in your conveyancing matters. You have to complete the marital status, whether it's out of community, in community of property, the date of the marriage, the place, whether it's assisted by the spouse or not. So it's vital to complete that information if this is a party, a buyer or a seller especially. Then tax details, also that's obviously important that you're going to do a SARS application for this party, so make sure you fill in here whether this is a registered taxpayer or not, what the income tax number is, whether they're SA resident, and whether there's a VAT number involved. Again, like I said, important for SARS applications. Then auditors, if this party's got auditors that are acting on their behalf, it's important to fill that information in here. Banking details, if you're going to be paying this party, especially if it's a client, and you're going to be paying them at the end of the month for money that you've collected on their behalf, or if you're refunding your buyer at the end of a matter, the banking details need to be filled in here so that when you generate the documents, the correct banking details will appear. And also from the accounting side, it will use these banking details to create your payment batches. Then we've got the CRM tab. This will only be used if you actually registered to use the client relationship module, which helps you to group your clients in different categories. You can create categories for VIP clients. You can create groups for clients that play golf. The reason you would do that is to just to correspond to those parties in a much easier way because they're categorized and they're grouped. So you can then communicate with them straight from their desktop and say, we're arranging a golf day, so I want to invite all my parties that play golf. Or I'm arranging a cocktail evening and I want to invite all my VIP clients. So that's the CRM aspect of the address book. We've also got an automatic birthday message that you can ask to be sent. So you can fill in the date of the birthday of the client. And it also shows you under the history the last instruction that was received and the total income that this party has earned for you, or this client has earned for you. Then file notes, all SMSs and emails that are sent out of LegalSuite for this party will be saved here. You can also insert your own file notes on the screen. Then products, if you've got a will for this client or an ANC for the client that you want to bill them for, you can insert it here under the list of products. Then under miscellaneous, we've got a bunch of information that might apply to you. We've got an alternate reference field. We've got an old code field. That's if you're taking the parties on from an old system and you wish to be able to still search by those numbers, you can use that. We've got a power of attorney number. We've got an occupation, a matter message, what that will be. Like, for example, here we've got this client as a VIP client. Every time you take on a new matter for this party or for this client, it will pop up with that message just to remind you that this client is a VIP client. You can fill in the docx address over here. You can mark the party as inactive. If you no longer use this, get any work from this party, you can mark them as inactive. Then under citations, also very important on the litigation side, it will automatically complete the citations for you according to the type and the entity that was chosen. Obviously, you can come and modify it, make sure it's correct, the word that you're happy with the wording. We've also got a tick that the physical address is the domiciliary address of this party. If that is the case for a collections matter, make sure that that's ticked. Then power of attorney. If there's a power of attorney over this party, please complete the details here. Then relationships, we're going to come back and look at relationships later, but this is the list of parties that's in a relationship with the highlighted party. So we are on Delia Smith at the moment, and you can see from the list of relationships, there's another party called Jennifer Daly that's an employee of Delia Smith. So you'll see that will show you which parties are in a relationship with this highlighted party. Then we've just got some notes. For example, if this party was imported electronically via something like data link, it will be recorded here. You can also insert your own notes for internal use. And then lastly, we've got the section for FICA compliance. For those of you that are registered to use the FICA module, shows you the list of documents that is required for this type, for this party. In this case, it will be an adult. The entity is an adult. So it will show you, you need an ID book, proof of residency, SARS tax certificate, founding statement, blah, blah, blah. And the ones that you've got, it will be ticked, and the ones that are still outstanding will have a red cross next to it. And it also shows you the document date, when it was received, and when it will expire. So this is here for those of you that are registered for FICA, to help you to make sure parties that you're dealing with are all FICA compliant. Right, that's the overview of the address book and how to insert a new party. Let's have a look now at searching and filtering. Now, the address book is categorized by the main function or role a party normally plays in a matter, and this makes it easy to find, say, all the sheriffs or advocates. The filtering there is at the top right-hand side. You can see you can filter by the entity, different types, and different roles. So I can say, show me all my adult advocates, and it will show me a list just of all my adult advocates. Right, then searching, you'll see there's a drop-down, search for, name, containing, or starting with, or you can search for ID number, search for address, fill in what you want to search for. So I'm going to search for ID number containing 7901. Click on the search button, and it will show you all the parties that's got an ID number starting with 7901 or that contains an ID number of 7901. And then you can just click on the go to, and it will take you to that entry in the address book. Right, that's the searching and filtering. Let's have a look at how you can generate letters, emails, and SMSs from the address book. Now, you will use the address book to correspond with your parties only if the communication is not related to a matter. So if you want to communicate with your party and it's got nothing to do with a matter, then you do it via the address book. So, for example, if you want to send them a letter about FICA, or if you want to invite them to a golf day, you do that out of the address book because it's not relevant to a specific matter that you're dealing with. And all outgoing correspondence will be saved automatically in the party's document log. You can send an SMS, send an email, create a blank letter, create a blank fax, create a once-off account, and assemble documents out of the address book. Let's have a quick look how you would do that in LegalSuite. To send an SMS, you'd click on that button over there, type in your message, Dear Delia, kindly forward your proof of residence ASAP for FICA. Click on OK, the SMS will be sent. Next one, email. See, it will bring up your email screen, fills in the email addresses that are linked to this party. Type in your subject for your email, outstanding FICA documents. Dear Delia, we are waiting the following outstanding documents. Click on send, the email will be sent to the client or to the party. Then those three are used to generate letters, faxes, and accounts. See, it just brings up a blank screen and populates the document with the client's name and address, and if it's an account, we also include the VAT number. So those can be used to just create those quick once-off letters, faxes, or invoices. Right, that will be used to assemble documents, the little puzzle man, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with from the desktop. So that will be to assemble a list of custom documents. For example, you might have a custom letter that you use to invite people to a golf day. Grab the document, click on assemble. Then the next button is the document log, and that's where you can view a list of all the correspondence that's been sent to this highlighted party, and that will save everything from SMSs, emails, documents, everything that gets done out of the address book will be saved there. Right, let's have a look now at party roles. I explained in the beginning when you take on a person, you have to say what their default role is. For example, here we've got a lady advocate called Mary Smith. Her entity will be an adult, her type will be a female, and her default role will be that of an advocate. So in other words, if we go to the address book, there's Mary Smith. She only appears there once. Now she can play different roles in different matters. First matter BAK1004, she's the advocate. And there's the parties for this matter screen, and it shows you for BAK1004, she is the advocate. Now there might be another matter where she comes to you and she's now the seller. She's selling her house, so she's not acting as an advocate in this matter. She's a normal seller that's coming in to sell her property. Then she'll be, if you look at the parties for this matter, the seller. So it's the same person. She only appears in the address book once, but she's playing different roles on different matters. Yeah, to continue with roles, we've got Piet van Niekerk. He's an adult male, and his default role is the seller. So he came to you. He's a seller in a matter. He was added to the address book as Piet van Niekerk. His default role was a seller. He also happens to be an attorney and a partner at a law firm called Smith & Smith. So you go into the address book, there's Piet van Niekerk, who's only added once. Now, same story. First matter, VAN 82001, he was the seller. There's the parties for this matter VAN 82001, and there's Piet van Niekerk as the seller. Now, we've got, continuing with roles, we've got a law firm here. It's a partnership. The entity is a partnership. The type of attorneys, they're called Smiths and Smiths. Their default role is that they are the opposing attorney on some of the matters that you're dealing with. So there they are in the address book. They only appear once. Now, to explain the relationships to you, we've got Piet van Niekerk, who's the partner, but he can also be the default contact of Smiths and Smiths. So if you go to Piet van Niekerk in the address book, you'll see there he's the relationships for Piet van Niekerk is that he's the partner of Smiths and Smiths. So that is how the two of them are connected. So if you need to communicate with Smiths and Smiths, you can't send an email or a letter to Smiths and Smiths. It's got to go to a person at Smiths and Smiths, and that will be Piet van Niekerk, who also happens to be the default contact for that firm. Right, to sum up, we've looked at an overview of the address book. We've looked at how to insert a new party, looked at searching and filtering the address book. We've looked at how to generate letters, emails, and SMSs from the address book. And we've looked at the different party roles and relationships in the address book. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. If you have any queries, please do not hesitate to email Susan, susanf@legalsuite.co.za. Many thanks.